Hey everyone, Emma here, back with another deep dive into cybersecurity. Today we're talking about something super crucial, understanding how data moves around your network. Learning this material on this channel will help make you an expert in cybersecurity, and this topic is going to be a game changer for all you cybersecurity buffs out there. So data isn't just sitting in one spot, it's like a traveler on your network. Communication flow is all about figuring out who's touching the data, when they're doing it, and how much they're taking. It's like watching the traffic on your digital highway. By understanding this flow, we start to build what we call baselines. Think of it like knowing the regular traffic patterns of your neighborhood. If you see a car at 3 a.m. when it's usually quiet, that's abnormal, right? The same goes for data. Knowing what's normal helps us spot when something's off. Now, data should only move in the ways we've planned. If it's doing anything else, it's not just weird. It could be a sign of trouble. Bad actors or hackers, they want your data. If you know how your data is supposed to act, you'll notice when someone else is messing with it. But here's the deal. Understanding communication flow isn't a one-time deal. It's like keeping your room clean, you've got to keep at it. Our networks are always changing. New data, new users, new systems. We've got to update our understanding constantly. Let's link this back to our Know Thy Systems talk. Knowing your systems isn't just about what you have. It's about how they all chat with each other. This helps us figure out how to keep everything safe. Here's an example to make it click. Data loss prevention, or DLP for short, is like a security guard for your data. It looks for sensitive info, watches how it's used, and stops it from leaving if someone's trying to sneak it out. But DLP is only as good as how well you set it up. You need to know your network, mark what data is important, and then tell DLP how to act based on that knowledge. And remember, your network's like a living thing. It grows and changes. So you've got to keep tweaking your DLP settings. What you knew about your network last month might be outdated this month because, hey, things change. So Know Thy Systems isn't something you do once and forget. It's an ongoing saga. Staying on top of changes is the key to nailing cybersecurity. But wait, there's more. Let's talk about how we can make this fun. Think of understanding communication flow as putting together a puzzle. Each piece tells you something about how data moves, who's accessing it, and when. When you start seeing the big picture, you can predict and prepare for the unexpected. Now, how do we monitor this flow? Well, you've got tools like network monitoring software, which are like CCTV for your data traffic. They help you see the patterns, detect anomalies, and react before any damage is done. And let's not forget about the human element. Users interact with data daily. Training them on what's normal and what's not can turn your workforce into a line of defense. If everyone knows the signs of unusual data access, they can report it and you can act fast. But there's also the challenge of encrypted data. When data's encrypted, it's like wearing a disguise. You can't see what's inside just by looking at it. So you have to be clever about monitoring the behavior around it, like who's accessing it and how often. And what about when data should move? Like when you're sharing it with a partner or moving it to the cloud? You need to set up secure pathways, like tunnels, where data can travel safely, seen only by those who should see it. Now let's talk about scaling this understanding. As your organization grows, so does your network's complexity. You might need to automate some of this monitoring because human eyes can't keep up with all that data movement. Automation can alert you to anomalies in real time, giving you that extra edge. Another aspect is log analysis. Every action on your network leaves a trace in logs. Analyzing these logs can tell you stories about data flow, user behavior, and system health. But with tons of data, you'll need smart tools to sift through it all, looking for those telltale signs of something amiss. And let's discuss security information and event management (CM) systems. They're like the brain of your network security, pulling all this information together to give you a clear picture. They can correlate events from different parts of your network, making it easier to spot a coordinated attack or unusual behavior. But what if you detect something odd? That's when you need an incident response plan. Knowing how to react quickly can mean the difference between a minor scare and a major breach. Your plan should include steps like isolating affected systems, analyzing the breach, and communicating with stakeholders. Now let's think about external threats. Not all data movement is internal. Sometimes data goes out to the internet or comes in from external services. Managing this flow safely means using firewalls, VPNs, and secure API connections to ensure only the right data goes where it should. And let's not overlook insider threats. Sometimes the danger comes from within. Monitoring for unusual access patterns by employees or even contractors can help catch internal data misuse or accidental leaks before they become a problem. Finally, let's talk about the future. As we move more towards IoT, AI, and even quantum computing, the way data flows will evolve. Keeping up with these trends means your understanding of communication flow must also evolve. It's about being proactive, not just reactive. But how do we keep this understanding fresh? Well, regular assessments are key. You don't just set up your security once, you need to check if it's still working as intended. Think of it like a health checkup for your network. Are your security controls still keeping up with the new data moving around? We also need to talk about network segmentation. By dividing your network into smaller segments, you control how data flows between them. If one segment gets compromised, the damage is contained, and your sensitive data in other segments remains safe. And what about the Internet of Things, IoT? With more devices connecting to your network, understanding communication flow becomes even more complex. Each device could be a new entry point or a new path for data. We need to know where these devices are, how they're connected, and what data they're sending or receiving. But let's also consider the role of cloud services. When data moves to and from the cloud, it's like moving between different countries with different rules. You need to ensure that the security measures at each end are compatible and robust. Cloud providers offer security, but you must understand how their security integrates with yours. And let's not forget about privacy laws like GDPR or CCPA. They dictate how data should be handled, especially when it moves across borders. Understanding communication flow helps ensure compliance, preventing legal headaches and fines. Now let's dive into data classification. Not all data is created equal. Some data needs to be treated like gold, others like copper. By classifying data based on its sensitivity, you can tailor your security measures to protect what matters most. Another layer is network protocols. These are the rules of the road for data. Understanding which protocols are used for what kind of data transfer helps in spotting when something's not right. If data is supposed to travel via HTTPS but you see it using an unsecured protocol, that's a red flag. Let's talk about zero trust architecture too. It's based on the principle of never trust, always verify. In terms of communication flow, this means every access request is scrutinized, no matter where it comes from. It's like having a bouncer at every door on your network, checking IDs before letting anyone in. And what about when you need to share data? Secure file transfer protocols, encryption, and access controls become your best friends. You want to make sure that when data leaves your network, it's like sending a letter with a wax seal, ensuring only the intended recipient can open it. Now let's consider the human side of things again. Phishing attacks are designed to mess with communication flow by tricking people into revealing credentials or sending data where it shouldn't go. Education on recognizing these threats is crucial. It's the human firewall. But how do we deal with the sheer volume of data? Big data analytics can help. By analyzing large data sets, you can spot trends, predict future movements, and even use machine learning to flag potential threats before they manifest. And let's not forget about the importance of updates. Just like patching software vulnerabilities, understanding communication flow means you're always updating your knowledge of your network. What was secure last week might be a weak point this week. Lastly, let's talk about communication flow in the context of business continuity. If your network goes down, understanding how data was flowing helps in quickly restoring services. It's like having a map to rebuild your digital city after a cyberstorm. But let's not stop there. Understanding communication flow also means looking at how data is cached across your network. Caching can speed up data access, but if not managed right, it can become a security risk. Sensitive data could be cached on devices where it shouldn't be, making it accessible to unauthorized users. And what about mobile devices? With more work happening on the go, mobile becomes another layer in our communication flow. How do we ensure that data on phones, tablets, and laptops is as secure as when it's on our fixed network? Mobile device management, MDM solutions are key here, allowing control over what data can be accessed and how it's protected when away from the office. We also need to consider the role of VPNs in all this. Virtual private networks are like secret tunnels through the internet, keeping data safe from prying eyes. But if not configured correctly, they can leak information or not provide the level of security we expect. Knowing how data travels through these tunnels is part of understanding the full picture of communication flow. Now let's talk about application level security. Applications are where a lot of data interaction happens, and they need to be secure in how they ask for, process, and send data. API security, input validation, and output encoding are all parts of ensuring data doesn't get compromised at this level. And there's the matter of data retention policies. How long should data be kept? When should it be deleted? Understanding communication flow means knowing when data has served its purpose and needs to be securely removed from all systems and backups to prevent any residual risk. Let's also dive into the concept of microsegmentation. It's like having mini networks within your network. Each segment can have its own security rules, reducing the spread of risks. If one segment is breached, the damage is contained, and your sensitive data in other segments remains secure. And remember, with all this talk about technology, we can't ignore the human aspect. Social engineering is still one of the most effective ways to disrupt communication flow. Training your team to spot these tactics, like pretexting or baiting, can be the difference between a secure network and a compromised one. So, if you're loving this journey into the heart of network security, stick with me. Learning this material on this channel will help make you an expert in cybersecurity. I've got more content lined up that'll keep you on your toes. Whether you're a pro or just starting, we're in this together, piecing together the security puzzle one episode at a time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more cyber adventures. Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and stay secure, my friends.